Hello, 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 hello. Round 2 brings us many options for starting routes. Go low and slick for max speed but lose your haste. Go high and space well for the top slick and a good line, or take the booster and gain time later in the map with the haste. What will be the fastest? How many different routes might we see? They said, tongue firmly planted in cheek. A hint of what's to come, perhaps? But let's hop straight into the game. Last week we saw Goblin taking the lead quite convincingly, and once again we see Kota with an all secrets run. 1912 is what I've got to type in. Demo. Hopefully that's typing. 1912. We, I believe, get a bit of a run through the map with this as well, which is good. So we'll be able to roll through, take a look at the map, see what's going on. Here we go. So straight out the start, we drop down and take that, a very nicely hidden secret. I didn't manage to find that one in the end. I managed to find 2 and 4, but not 1 and 3. I was wondering, because number 2 is right here, and I was wondering how close to the start it could possibly be. So it was a fairly well hidden secret, because I looked all around and couldn't find it. There it is. And I was looking for a red dot. Honest. Then where's secret number 3? Because this one I really couldn't... No way. Come on. Oh, you've got to double jump off of a tiny bit there. Oh, I was in that corner looking around and for some reason didn't see the dot. Terrible. I would have probably gone really hard and asked people if I'd have found number 3 as well. And number 4, I really like the hiding place of number 4. Let's see how Kota manages to get into this one. Oh, very nicely done. Yeah, you get up there. You can do it from that ledge over the other side. Through here, and then a tricky jumping section. This completely kills you if you fail it. So, got to be careful, especially on that last bit. And you do, in fact, get R for mega speed. And a nice little tuber. And into the finish. So all of that put together is your route for this week. So with very little further ado, we will get in with Des, your South American champion. No African run this week. Actually checked it. Thank you, Mirio, for sending the things and checking them all. I forgot to check last week. Here we go with Des. 35-16. It's not a bad run. I believe we will see, we did see it in Kota's run actually, the sneaky start that was unfortunately found. So, okay, Des not going for it in the end. But there is a reason he's behind 1 second at the start there. He did say the cheeky start was the reason. We might as well just talk about the cheeky start. You can get a double boost off of that first boost panel. It's potentially the fastest route anyway. Going low would lose you the haste, and 30 seconds without haste is a lot. But going high and getting a double boost, you keep the haste and it's as fast as going low. About 2200 speed you could be coming out of there with. Up here we have Snow with a 30.99 perfectly. It looked for a while like you were going to need sub 32 to get in, and then right at the end, sub 31 is what is required to get into the top 20. Let's take a peek at what Snow did with apparently a 33.95. Did I mess up the numbers? We will see. I might have done that. But yeah, double boost, clipping this gently, coming around this corner nice and tight, gets a down ramp just there, glancing up there, then you've got to take this wide so that you can get round this corner, just glancing at the wall, all the way in, just avoiding that step. I think we're going to see a lot of just avoiding the step somehow. Very, very nice run there from Snow. Next up, we have a pause. Fixed it. Forgot to delete last week's times. We have next up a 30.97 from Uchi. Will there be anything different, really? with Uchi's run. Using the shotgun in the bottom corner. Interesting. So yeah, boom, boom, get the double, get round wide, get a nice down ramp, nice flick up here, 2,000 through there, very nicely done. Keeping it tight, a good ramp up here, got to keep it quite high. I was getting a lot of hits where I wasn't getting enough height. It's very easy on that corner to not get enough height going into the tunnel. Gets a nice double down ramp, pulls it round to the inside. Should get a down ramp here as well. Goes wide. We saw that last week from Uchi actually, going wide many times. That was an early run in the round as well. No checkpoints after checkpoint 3, I think I saw there. So an early run gets Uchi's PB. Onwards to Carnate. 0.05 faster. So very, very tight. As always, we were always going to have it with strafe maps. It was even more obvious once this specific route was figured out. It is a shame that there is the glitch, because otherwise this is the sort of map that could have had some different routing from the start, because different people would have been better. But we are going to see some slightly different routes. Now I did call 3 routes on this map, so we are going to say inside of that starting pillar and onto the ramp, or on the outside. We're going to call those 2 different routes. And then I'm going to probably have to find something else to find a different route for. I'm going to say on the other side of this, going inside or outside, that's also a route. And we'll probably end up seeing 3 routes because of that. Surely. We've got it. There's 4 possible with those 2 options. But a nice run from Carnate. Over onto WHT. No way anyone doing a sub 30 doing the second window. Oh, that's like the last possible frame. I think we're going to see quite a lot of those last possible frames to be able to get the hit. Doing second window, this window. I didn't play too much. I didn't see anyone doing proper fastest routes on this. Huh. I did not think that that would end up being faster, but we'll see. We will see. We have the insider info from JH from further up the leaderboard. Very nicely for WHT there. Shame about not having Slick, a very good Slick player. Rolling on from that, we have Tofu, 0.03 faster. What was it Tofu said he was struggling with? It was obviously everybody is struggling. You haven't seen it because we only watch PB runs. But the step at the end, there's a step right next to the end, causing a lot of problems. It slowly seemed to cause less and less problems though. But yeah, that's it. So a really, really hard circle jump to start off. Tofu was having some problems with. But then the rage quit was caused, at least the rage quit that I saw, was caused by this. Going so low and you're just constantly not getting quite high enough. No double jump eats quite a lot on that ramp. But gonna need a good turn here to catch up. Takes it well on the inside, nearly touches that wall. Beautifully on the inside. Nice W turn holding it. Yeah, so the strange start, we might as well watch that again. So, right, when it starts, I'm going to slow-mo it as soon as I can. So the start was explained to me because I was asking inside the wall or outside the wall. Let me have a slow-mo. Okay. So I was asking inside the wall or outside the wall. So starting here means that your 180 faces you here, running you right along this edge of the wall. Then the aim was to actually get 2 down ramps through there. The second one a bit weaker, but it allowed the spacing to be correct to really be bringing it round, and then you get as best chance. You know, we saw on WHT's run that it was very, very close to not fitting in the edge of that boost panel for the second boost, whereas on Tofu's run we saw it being, you know, it was well in the boost panel for the second boost. But yeah, that was kind of the aim for it. I never managed to figure out how you did that. It makes sense if you can figure out the spacing for it, but I think you really have to study it to get it, and it's really small optimizations. Because otherwise you come out slower. You can get there faster, but you'll come out 100 speeds slower. Next up, we have the wonderful Ash, creator of so many great DeFrag maps for the World Championships. And finally given free reign to play. It's fun watching Ash's plays. He's an absolutely brilliant player. So here we go, round the outside. Nicely done. Doesn't get the landing on the slick. Different people were getting consistent landings on the slick. I was getting inconsistent landings, so went with more of Ash's style and ended up not landing on the slick. Some people were able to land on the slick, use it as a turn. Nicely onto that down ramp. Doesn't get the greatest spacing for the up ramp, but it's not too bad. Takes this corner nicely. Brilliant AD turn there. Really holds it tight, and a nice W turn to finish as well. Gains a lot in that final W turn. You can see how many people have lost to the step because of the checkpoints. Do we have them? No, we don't have them in the thing. But yeah, checkpoints all the way to the end. Red, 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 red. Green on the end. But super nice end. Yeah, Ash has got amazing AD turns. Next up, we have the Turkish Delight, Woodjizza. 30.73. I'm still just going to say improved so much recently since a couple of XWCs ago. It's such a strange circle jump that, but it's fast. Gets the slick. Heavy speed, really nice spacing onto there. Taking this corner. Goes up, bit of a bump there, but that's fine. You want to make sure you get the height. Making sure of the height, more important. That's a nice line to be getting low damage there. Brilliant line just there. Has to turn, goes for a W turn on the end. Sorry, AD turn on the end there rather than a W turn, which is interesting. Right round that last corner, I think we'll see it. It's one of those things that you see this people slightly further down towards the 30. My sort of time, down the 30s, we probably more see ADs. But then you get up to this sort of area, the top 20, you're going to see Ws, but then it's going to be going too fast towards the end and needing the AD again. Woodjizza are probably on the corners of that. Like we say, like Ferris has just put in chat, very, very nearly stub to toe. So the AD gives you potentially a bit more, and if you're having runs that are too fast, you might want to tone it back, do the AD. Just be safe, make it to the finish, because the finish... There's so many things that could just ruin your run right there at the finish. There are many steps that people aren't talking about. Following that up, we have Kyle. Let's hit it. 30.62. How much? That's a big jump. A 30.62. Ah, Plaza, not Ferris. Never mind. Getting the wrong people. Apologies. Nice start here from Kyle. Didn't set this while we were recording the picture. Is in fact in the picture. Nicely up here. Shoots the secret button, of course. Oh, that's a beautiful jump up. But potentially the start of what JH was talking about. Really difficult to get that jump. Takes a big hit here, that's unfortunate, but I mean, it does set you up nicely for the final. AD turn, keeping it super tight to the corner, and flies across the line. I mean, that plus 73, that was absolutely flying into the window there. Cheers, Drainer, for the raid. As we move on to Cute Bones. Yeah, so whole point one, last second windower. I'd say Cute Bones probably still windowing. I didn't even know that the windows were out of there, to be fair. Very interesting. Being out of... It's a weird one. Last XDWC I was in every single day, really playing hard every single map, every single day. This one, I've been out of it a bit. I mean, I wasn't even sure I was going to go for this cut. this double boost cut, but it is absolutely, yeah, it's too close. Very nice. I think we saw a faster start there than Kyle, but this end is not going to be, not as fast as Kyle going in, I think, but tighter by the looks of things. And there's your point. Your .02 can come from anywhere. Really difficult to spot. Up next, Plaza. The outside in the start sets you up better for 2x boost because you can avoid the slick. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. No African champion this week, unfortunately, Kota. But yeah, Plaza. Again, another one massively improved since fighting 2 for VP 100. One of the best long map players. There was a... someone suggested a long map tournament. Instead of having 5 maps, you just have 5 weeks to push out a time on like a 5-minute map. And that would just basically be giving it to Plaza or 2. 5 minutes before the end this time was set. An absolute buzzer beater right here from Plaza. Let's see. Up in the window. W turning into the window? Madness. Absolute. Watch those buttons at the bottom. Just pure W turning. We had it last week with the pure W turns. Back on the Ws? We're back on the Ws. Ooh, nearly clipping. Very, very nice there from Plaza. A 0.1 ahead, 0.11 faster than Cute Bones. And we still haven't seen that window fall. Will it fall as we head into the top 10, 10th place, Silney. Another 0.05 to save. Is this where we see the second window fall? And my prediction of roots come true. Nice. Oh, that's a very nice ramp. You can tell a good ramp on this map. Knowing that this is a run that passes, you can tell a good ramp immediately because they just get so little height off of it. And it looks like you're not going to make it, and then it just does. And some of them, I think we have seen it on maybe Uchi's run. I think Uchi had a step up to the ramp into that first window. Very, very nicely done. And the second window has not fallen. Well, 2. Listen out for the start of the thing. Is 2 going to be introduced? Our next player?
2.
There we go. It only happens on 2s. Like, we have not heard that on the rest of them. Uchi had a 1. But we rarely hear it. And then 2 is got introduced every single time. Guys, hack the game. Absolutely. No, it does. It definitely does only work if you're there from the very start of the game. From, like, when the game restarts. And 2's a heavy grinder. So, gonna hear it more on 2's runs than anyone else's. That's a nice ramp up. Very tight. W turning here. Still going for the window. Very nicely done. Gets so close to that wall and a beautiful up ramp to get a lot of speed off of that down ramp after. Takes a heavy chunk there, but it probably stabilizes a little bit. And then super tight, of course, on the end. It's so difficult to pick out what's going different on any of these runs. And I mean, 0.01, 1/100th of a second. But there will be differences. And there'll definitely be differences. And I think when we get to second place, we might drop back down to somewhere further. But yeah. JH time. Is this where the window falls? Since JH said that there would only be a few window runs. Or was he baiting? It would be completely unlike JH, of course, to bait anybody with a route. But he did stop streaming halfway through the week, so, you know, could be something. Nice circle jump start, gets a good bounce. Bump wall. I'm calling that a route if I have to. Decent ramp. Decent ramp. Not so much of a glide. That one hits. it doesn't go for windowless. No windowless technology. When will somebody run Linux? That's all we need. Very nice finish here. Strong to the finish as well. Very strong to the finish and very nicely done from JH there. That end, absolutely brilliant. I think honestly, the wall bump was probably a lot of time lost there because you have now lost a lot of speed, but it makes the entrance for the double boost very reliable. Was what I was doing the wall bump at the start a lot because it makes the entrance very reliable. Source up next. That's a huge jump. Okay, so this has got to be windowless, surely. What's that, like quarter of a second basically that we're about to see change? That is a quarter of a second on a map like this is just immense, absolutely immense. Yeah, I mean, I did point out the windowless route in the guide, but it was more... I was thinking it could come into play for a mid-level player, like a 20th to 30th kind of player.
5 minutes remain.
Source a lot faster through here. Okay, that is very nice. And you have to not hit your head, but you get a lot of speed off the back of that on the other end. That's huge. Let's rewatch it in slow-mo so that we know what's going on for the rest of the runs, because I think this is gotta be. Let's run it back, because this has got to be the rest of the runs, because we've seen such a huge jump, and then the next jump, another 0.2 almost. So we've got to look at that. We've got to take a look at this. Really interesting. Really interesting. Like was said before, you need a lot more run, a lot more speed. So no wall hit, nearly 2200 out of there. Very nicely done. Gets a beautiful slide here. That's important. You've got to get the speed. Now he comes in here on the edge. Little tap. Step up. Step ups for spacing. So he gets an absolutely perfect ramp here. And another step up. Oh no, no step up there. Step up, cancel. DJ cancel. Then running along to here. This is another one of those. Remember last week where we had people going too far and eating ramps, and then people going too far and not getting down ramps? This is another one of those. How close can you get to this without eating it? Because the closer you get to this, interestingly, if you're landing where Source landed, so he's kind of like 3 frames probably into his jump right now. If the closer you land to this, the less height you're going to end up gaining from it. Which means, like, Source, you lose quite a bit of speed here, comparatively. We'll see some absolute glorious runs later, I'm sure. And then, that's pretty tight on not hitting your head right there. I have a feeling we may be seeing, if you look down at the bottom of the screen, Source is currently holding... what's that? Left and jump. And I think if you look to the other side of the jump key, underneath that one, that's the crouch key, which we may be seeing other people use. I mean, I think we just saw half of the map, the camera actually glitching through the roof there. Then getting the down ramp for a lot of speed here. A very nice up ramp, and we are back just with more speed than we previously had. 2300 as opposed to 2200 round here. I'm sure we'll possibly even see 2500 by the end of this. Absolutely glorious. Vert is up next. I don't believe he's even said a word in chat. Let's see. Back to slapping, absolutely beautiful. That's what we like to see. True vert, slapping. Gets the slower one and takes the slick for a faster turn. So he doesn't go window, goes up. Okay, so completely different. Has to crouch under there. Holding alt fire down. Very nice ramp just there. Very, very nice. To try and compete this not compete, compare that. I hit play again. We did indeed have a 2. Let's compare that. Let's let it run. So Vert's actually going for the slick on this, which is interesting. So it's a slower start. You see here, boom, boom, only 2,000 rather than 2,100. Then you go for the slick and make it up. Trying to have a drink. So he's on the other side, which means he's going to take the tighter line. But what Source wasn't risking there was going too high. So Vert now very high, very close to... Ew, needed to crouch there, really. That's brutal. How many runs do you lose if you just decide to not crouch there? Eats quite a lot off of that. I think 2 hits even on the flats there. This one, very clean. Very clean. Then running it round the corner. 2,400 after the second bounce, so a lot more speed than Vert. So yeah, you carry more speed, but you do risk a lot more by going that way. Nicely done, Verty. Delta up next. How many baguettes did he need to take this record? 5th place. On the podium. I've decided we're having a 5-rider podium. We're up to the 20 years of 5-rider podiums in the mountain biking. Let's go. Coming quite far away from the wall there. Takes the slick. Wonder if we'll see Goblin go with the slick. As a slick god that he is. Okay. Gets the step up. Gets a nice jump there. Slicks it through. Did he crouch? Is no one crouching? Am I just completely wrong that you need to crouch there? Am I just a scaredy pants? Probably. Very nicely done through there. A little bit faster than Vert as well. And carrying it all the way to the end. That's a beautiful end. We're just going to be like double replaying. These maps are much shorter. So we ended up with a 45-minute video last time rather than an hour. So we can definitely replay quite a lot of these in slow-mo. Much more than we would otherwise. So let's take a look at this in the slow-mo. So we come in here, then you get a boost, and then you get your second boost, and then you drop down and you take the slick. He gets the turn. Without the slick, he wouldn't be able to take that turn. But that goes very nicely. Then here, oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Loses about 100 speed. Here, what are we doing then? Let's take a deep look. Vert, very different to this. You know, gets that, gets the double. I want the other one. Lands nicely at the bottom of here. Not quite as nicely as Source, but does go for the DJ cancel. Now get your jump back on. Lands about where Source did. No duck. Not quite looking through the roof like we did with Source. The start that goes onto the slick. We've mostly seen starts that go onto the slick recently. Which is quite interesting. I didn't think we'd see any past 10, like top 10. But yeah, start that goes onto the slick. And I think, unless Shinx changed the route later in the week, Shinx up next, 0.02 faster. Shinx is going round the barrier, I believe. But I'm not... Oh, it possibly changed. He might have gone for it in the end. Yep, round the barrier. So not on the inside. But that carries more speed. By going round, you're slower, but you carry more speed. It takes a longer time, but it's faster. English is hard. Going up, taking that route. W turn, very nicely done. Doesn't need to duck because it was such a slide up the ramp. Gets a beautiful slide up this ramp. Not quite as fast as we've seen. AD turning for a bit longer, and then W turns all the way around the corner. Nicely into the finish. It'd be rude not to. Just for 4th place, we've pretty much done everyone with a double replay since the top 10. Let's take a look at the slide, the beautiful slide that we got. So we're up and round. Might as well slow-mo this as well so I can show you the difference. If you want to zoom back in the video, boom, boom, 2200 rather than 2000. And then the difference is made up by the slick for the other players. Nicely done here. This is a beautiful slide. Very little speed lost. Flicking left and right there for change of direction. Absolutely stunning last pixel landing pretty much there. How does he not manage to hit the roof? No one's ducking. You've got bigger balls than me. That's a glorious ramp. This is super nice as well. Up and round and early. Early on the turn there. Keeping it closer to the wall on the inside. Pushing all the way to the finish. Very, very nicely done. Frosty up next. Third place. 29.66. What is the improvement by 0.03, right? 0.04. 0.04 for this one. It was a tricky start. Some falling off the back edge was very common, I think. Nice. Gets a slick. Tiny bit of slick just for a bit of a turn. Nicely done. Keeps it super running on the inside. Very clean through there. All the way up. Gets the down ramp. Nicely done. Did Shinx get the down ramp? I forgot to look. I don't think Shinx got the down ramp. That might be your 0.4. Not getting the down ramp. Let's take a quick look at Shinx's run. Rolling back to Shinx. No, not on forwards. Backwards. There we go. Yeah, your ending was a bit faster there, Frosty. But I'm interested to see if Shinx got the down ramp because I mean, I slow-moed it and then just blanked out after that bit. But there is a chance because he got such a smooth ramp off of this next ramp just here. Glorious. He does get the down ramp. Okay, does get the down ramp. But then, yeah, not coming in quite as fast. A little bit of an overturn maybe? But keeps it tight. That's the kind of trade-off, I guess. He loses a little bit more speed, but keeps it very, very tight. Turning it up to second place now. Whoa. With a 0.63. Shout out to 2, as always, it seems. How different is Woe's run going to be? It's cool when we see different runs for this sort of thing, especially when it's like you're just going too fast to go inside there. And with those sort of things, you really have to commit to that change because you'll be slower for... Does anyone want to say how long you were slower for? How long did it take you to adapt to the new route? Ooh, that's an interesting start. Having to get the double. That's a nice jump up. Gets good spacing coming around here. Very nice through there. Right on the wide. Keeps it to the inside. Gets a good down ramp there. Beautiful up there. Very nice coming wide. Much wider than Shinx or Frosty indeed. But super tight on the last finish and with a lot of speed. Brings it in for a tiny little bit faster. Super, super nice end. It's so difficult. Like, you could sit back and just watch these. If I was doing world record reviews, I would miss all of this. You really have to focus, and that's why we're watching everything twice, so that I can watch it the first time. And I'm missing half of the stuff. And people are saying stuff in chat about certain parts, and you know, you're gonna miss stuff. It is super, super technical. If you're wondering why you're just like 2 seconds behind people, watch all of this in slow motion. Like that start, I've not seen that sort of start before. Very nice up that ramp and high. Then coming through here, that's the wrong button. Super tight and straight on the strafe on the other side. Absolutely fantastic. Coming through here. Gets a good ramp here. Doesn't lose much. No over 1G there. Then Frosty's saying 0.1 faster in the end. That starts here. with a very nice... Was that double? We can't rewind these demos, really annoyingly. That was a double ramp, I think, there. Gets a step up on that section there. Runs it through. Super smooth here. But here's the thing. Goes quite wide. Wider than we saw Frosty and wider than Shinx. Shinx was super tight. Then here... Fast through here. Super fast and super tight. Look how close we're going to get here. Full. Super tight on the inside. All the way. Gets the step up there. Bang. That end was fantastic. Now, as we always seem to have, a very tight top 5, top 6, within 0.15 there. 0.16. Come on, give it to me. And then we have 0.2 and 0.25 kind of numbers, stretching it out over this end. And then back to being very tight through here. But then right at the top, we have Goblin, who has gone some 0.15 faster than Woe. Could we find fault in Woe's run? Not really. About 40 speed slower on that one up ramp in the middle versus Shinx, which is the fastest we've got as a comparison. I don't have the checkpoint data, I've just realised. I could probably find the checkpoint data and we'll take a look at it. But let's take a look at Goblin's run. Boom boom and Slick. I thought we might see Slick from Goblin. Flies in here. Much higher than I thought he'd be going. Taking the source route round the outside. Did he have to crouch? I don't think so. Very smooth up there. Smooth and wide. Brings it all the way in. His AD turns are impeccable. And he brings it there. So is it... I mean, the only thing I can think is it's faster because that left-hand ramp is lower, but then you have to hit the second ramp. So the only thing I can think is it's going to be keeping more speed, which potentially means getting a bigger down ramp after. But yeah. Oh, Woe spammed his BBWRs. Did you see how close Woe was to the step? That run had to be that fast to hit the step. So would it have been 0.2 with the other route? Wait, so this route's slower. Okay, Goblin's just cracked. This keeps happening. How does this keep happening? That Goblin just... Can somebody just please give Goblin the best route? So that there's none of this. Was it the fastest route? This is the trouble for players further down the line. This is what I mean by the fastest route for you might not be the fastest route. Because you've got to put up with this, where Goblin's just so fast that he makes any route work. Coming flying into here. We'll see how he takes this in slow motion. So he basically doesn't take a ramp jump there, because there wasn't any speed lost. He takes it perfectly flat. Jumps up there. Does get the double jump on that. Way further behind and loses. And you see there the G meter just here. I don't have a mouse that I can point at it with. But the G meter just there goes over 1. We were seeing with Frosty and Shinx and Woe that it was like 0.5 at most. Very smooth off those ramps. So going much further round. Then we continue. Does he have to crouch? No, he doesn't. Nobody has to crouch. Incredible. Does land slightly further down that ramp than I think we saw other people do. Very nice spacing there. Barely loses anything. Going fast enough that doesn't need the step up on this section. Then fast through here. Very nice. Gaining speed and on this turn. Super close to the wall. Won't get very close to this wall. It's been an interesting one. Last week we were seeing people get closer and closer to the outside wall until they had to take evasive action and then eventually do a -1J. Whereas here it's just been people getting better and better at AD turning till the point where they're no longer crashing into the wall. And they're just so tight, and that gains you a lot of time because it is quite a lot wider, you know, some maths and stuff. Absolutely bonkers. There was something I was going to pull up, that was it. I think I can bring up the round 2 checkpoints. Maybe. 2 seconds. Unfortunately, we don't have the checkpoint data, but what we do have is the... Oh, there we go. Drainer gets the raid thing. Go full screen with this. We do have the grinding history, so we'll slowly pop Goblin's run on. So where does he get the world record then? Let's have a look. Is that it? 29.63? Woe has a 29.63, so that's back on March 2nd, and we finished on March 7th, so like, what, Tuesday? Tuesday, managed to get it. Incredible. Just improves. I'm glad he does keep improving. I'm very glad he does keep improving. There's Woe. You see the improvements come over time, heavy in the midweek. That's quite common. Should see that yet again, Frosty. Heavy in the midweek, and then coming up just super tight. Another super tight one in here. Shinx is there. Goes a long drought just here through the middle. Delta, super tight again. Makes more improvements on the back end for Delta. Vert comes in a little bit further down, but not too much. Making a very steady improvement, kind of evening run. Always making improvements. Source is up, making his best run at the back of the week and carrying it all the way through. JH drops in with some large improvements and jumps and bouncing around. 2 steps up next, holding a high position but getting overtaken in the end by Source and JH. Silney here, holding pretty steady with relation to JH. Plaza running in, getting a good run towards the end. Just improving, you can see it right there at the end for Plaza. Cute Bones, way off the mark by the looks of things. Off the mark, then has a fantastic March 5th. Jumps up a bit on March 6th and finishes it off at the end of that day. Kyle, huge jumps on the 2nd. He's an early grinder and then he'll fine-tune his route towards the end. Also got a very close to the end improvement here. Kyle did. Woodger's where did he drop in? Oh, stays quite high and then starts improving. So very high and then kind of falling, but not falling. This looks better than when you see positions and when you see people falling in positions. This looks better when people are overtaking you. Because that's how it truly is. It's that other people are improving. You haven't got worse, other people got better. And that's a better way to take it. Ash dropping a massive run right at the end, only just starting on the 6th. Tofu starts in the midweek, fair enough. Grinds through, gets a good run. WHT climbs early, gets to his position and stays there. Carnate playing at offset times to quite a lot of people, being an Aussie. Uchi, can't even see it because we've got too many people. And Snow, rounding out the top 20, drops in somewhere in that mess. Very nicely done. Thank you very much to everybody for watching. This has been a fantastic week. Join us again next week for round number 3, where we have many people playing, setting times right now, more history for round 3. This is a very short history and incredibly messy because so many people are getting so many different PBs right now. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the week and may your runs be good.